Good afternoon. This is Tanisha Laverne Grant with blackinamerica.com. I'm super excited to bring to the platform today Eli Gray. Wow, I'm blown away. I am blown away by your performance as one of the most iconic men of our time, Muhammad Ali, in
Mhm.
Regina King's directorial debut, One Night in Miami. Let's
Thank-
talk about that body. Let's talk about that float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Let's talk about that cadence. You
Mhm.
know, I shouldn't even say Muhammad Ali right now because in One Night in Miami, you are portraying Cassius,
That's right. Yes.
you know. So let's just talk about the evolution,
Mhm.
of you portraying Cassius and the evolution that Cassius is coming to as Muhammad Ali,
Mhm.
because in One Night in Miami, that is what he's going through his metamorphosis,
Correct.
if you will, trying to get that out.
Yo, yes, absolutely. That's correct. It starts off with him winning his first world championship at 22 years old, the youngest ever at the time. It wouldn't be eclipsed until Mike Tyson, 20, 30 years later. He's a young man on top of the world. And he has this faith that he is devoutly connected to that the world doesn't know about. And he knows will not accept because he's seen how they've treated Malcolm X. And he's made a decision to take a stance and say that he's going to publicly declare that he's a member of the Nation of Islam the following day. And this is about the night that him, Sam Cooke, Jim Brown, and Malcolm X all come together and really have a discussion about what it is that they really should be doing with their platform that they've been blessed to have as Black men in that time.
What did it mean for you to portray him, at this particular time in your career? Because this is a role of a lifetime.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
is a role of a lifetime.
Mhm.
And there's so much road ahead of you. Would you play him again? Because I think you played him before on stage, correct?
So what happened was I was originally supposed to play him in another film and I didn't get it.
Oh,
After
okay.
I didn't get that, I decided I was going to keep working on the character, and I was going to do a film called or a play called Fetch Clay Make Man. Um,
Mm.
and as I was prepping to do the play, that's when this opportunity came up, and so I put that aside and decided to play him in the film, and it was a wonderful experience.
In your research and development of Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, what are some of the characteristics that he has that you see in yourself?
I'd say the number one character trait that we share would just be our faith. He's a
Mm.
Muslim and I'm a Seventh Day Adventist Christian, and for me, Jesus is the number one thing in my life, and for him, it was his faith in Islam, and I think that's the common through line that we do have. I think he's obviously a classic extrovert. I'm much more of an introvert naturally, and he's an athlete. I'm an artist, so I have a lot more in common probably with Sam in terms of my personality as Eli. But in terms of that's one thing that we do share.
Now, in my research and development, I read that you thought about being a pastor. Is that something you would revisit?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something that I don't take lightly. It's not something that I would just jump into because, I'm an actor and people know who I am. And so I would just do pastoring. No, it's something, that I hold in high regard and with reverence. So maybe, 15, 20 years from now, if I could study and learn, it's something I would love to do. Definitely.
Oh, wow. I could definitely, you have, first of all, your presence. There's something just very calm and still and inviting about your presence. And those are definitely great traits to really teach the word of God, because so many, when we're seeking the word of God, so many of us, too many of us, we come in pain,
Hmm.
and so there's this calmness about your voice, as I'm sitting here talking to you. So, I do hope to look up, 10, 15, 20 years down the line,
Hmm.
and see you in that capacity. That would be absolutely amazing. And watching the film, there's so many mise-en-scenes within the mise-en-scène,
Hmm.
you know. So there are a few moments where the camera is pushing up on you, and I just thought you played them all so well. What is your study technique? Do you have a specific are you Meisner? Are you Stanislavski? Like, just watching you work, because Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, is not an easy, he's not an easy person to portray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I lean more into Meisner. That's what I studied the most in school, and a little bit of Alexander technique for like the more physical acting. But
Okay.
in terms of how I like kind of get a grasp on the text, I find Meisner has been the most helpful to me. It gives me the most inspiration and the just the best grasp on the actual material.
Wow. Now this cast, this is a stellar cast. You got Aldous Hodge, Leslie Odom, Kingsley. I mean, this is amazing. What did you learn from each of your castmates? Like, what is something like you took away from Aldous that you will, apply moving forward in your acting career?
For me, Aldous is really a beautiful physical actor. He really knows
Mm,
his body, and he knows where he's at in like where he's at in terms of on screen, and he can really picture what his body is doing on screen, which is more difficult than most people realize. And also just like little things like his positioning on the set for eye lines, just
mm,
how he moves and his gait and his awareness of himself. Just a really great physical actor. And so I learned a lot just watching him, his stillness, in certain
mm.
moments, how he knows how to be still and yet have such an amazing presence in just his stillness. When you're there on set, you can look at him and it can look like he's just not doing anything. And then you go behind Video Village and you look on the playback screen, and it's like there's so much happening in his eyes and just in his expression. He's just really masterful at that.
Oh, wow. What about Kingsley? He was amazing. As Malcolm X, I'm just like, whoo.
Yeah. Kingsley for me, I think it's his passion and his the depth of his commitment to the craft. He really gives everything, and he leaves a piece of himself in the role. He doesn't leave any stone unturned. He obsesses at a level. I think we were all pretty obsessed with our characters, but he just really is so passionate and so fearless with his commitment to just portraying the role.
Okay. And last but not least, Leslie, it's just really important for me to ask these kinds of questions because, it's not every day you see an ensemble cast of Black men portraying icons in such a delicate and humanizing way. And so I really wanted to get on camera just for posterity, like what you learned from, your castmates.
Yeah. With Leslie, I mean, he's so smooth, and I think and also brave. He's a very brave actor. He fights for the things he needs to fight for, and then he's also very gracious. When the scene's not about him, he's very willing to let it be about the other person and to support them to have the best scene that they can have. So I think for me, with Leslie, with all the success that he's had, his graciousness, his fearlessness, and just how smooth he is, which I think is just a natural trait of his. I don't think that's anything that you can learn. I think you're either born with it or you're not.
Eli, thank you so much for your time. You're amazing.
Thank
Your
you.
performance as Cassius Clay or Muhammad Ali was truly an unrepeatable event. I cannot wait to see what becomes of your career and your future. May God bless you and continue
Bless you.
blessings and success.
Thank you so much.
Nisha Laverne Grant, BlackInAmerica.com.